California is a weird exception. California doesn't recognize RRSPs. You actually got to pay tax on the growth in your RRSP, and it creates that dreaded double taxation situation that everybody's looking to avoid.
I did want to actually ask you a very specific question that kind of speaks to some of the needs of the clients that you guys work with. And this is the idea that you're working for a tech firm here in Canada, but now you've been promoted or you're going to have to move to the US. And here's the question. If that happens to you, should you still be contributing to your company's RRSP, or should you be using some other form or different accounts?
Yeah, there's lots to unpack when you're talking about anything cross-border. That's an area I spend a lot of time in. You know, like so many things in financial planning, the answer is it depends. But typically speaking, like California is a weird exception. California doesn't recognize RRSPs. You actually got to pay tax on the growth in your RRSP, and it creates that dreaded double taxation situation that everybody's looking to avoid. By and large, unless you fall into a weird case, the US actually does recognize RRSPs. And so contributing them while you remain in Canada actually is part of a good long-term strategy.
Right, okay. Anything to add on that, Sham?
Just if you know that it's imminent that you might be making that move, you might want to consider investing in a non-registered basis outside of that RSP. There's a really good chance you'll need to liquidate those accounts and fund your new lifestyle overseas.
Yeah. When you're talking about moving to the US, one thing that comes up a lot is TFSAs. Phenomenal tool for Canadians to avoid paying tax on long-term growth. As soon as you move to the US, they become a no-no pretty quickly. So the IRS doesn't recognize a TFSA. Meaning while Canada sits there and says no tax owing, all that growth can go, the US is going to tax you on that growth all the way. And so you might look at it and say, geez, I don't mind paying a bit of tax in the US, I'm going to keep my TFSA. But that's only half the problem. What a lot of people don't realize until they're down there, there is no tax slips prepared for TFSAs. There doesn't need to be in Canada. And so you get to filing your first US tax return, and it's an absolute nightmare trying to gather all the information you need.